Welcome to this new how-to. In this how-to we're gonna use the Working Title CJ4 mod to make the approach, in this case to the Key West International Airport, and I'm gonna focus specifically on the FMS functionality. So in the previous video we looked at the FMS functionality and how you can use it for, I would say, departing. Now we're gonna look at how we're gonna use it for landing. So we just had approval to make the approach to runway 27 and then approach via Gusel transition. So we're gonna use, or we're being instructed to use, the airnav runway 27. So let's go to the FMS and find all the stuff. So the FMS is located here, right? So you can see it. So what we need to do is we need to press the deep R button, and then within the approaches you will find the airnav, which is referred to by HC. So we're going to select runway 27, and it says, okay, hey, you need to use the Gusel transition, sorry. So that's fine. So we're going to press execute, and then when we view lags, it will update the flight plan to include the next steps. So we're gonna view that here, right? So you can see, okay, hey, Burpee, Key West, and then runway. So that's all fine. So we will leave it for now because this is all fine. One thing you might want to do is you might want to look at the perf init and then specifically the approach. Remember that we configured this while taking off the airport. Well, in this case we still need to do it for the approach, and to do that what you can do is you can tune in manually to the ATIS. In case of ATIS, the Key West ATIS is 119.675. I will wait for the person to be finished talking. Now we know enough, so we switch back. And the way I discovered the ATIS was by going to skyvector.com and then simply punch in the AICO code of the airport, and that will provide you with the again disturbed by the HC, and that will provide you the ATIS frequency, which you can punch in this menu. So you can type it in and then click the button here. So we provide the wind, direction and the speed, and then we need to provide the temperature, which in this case was 15 degrees. Then we can go to the next page, and in the next page you will see that the VRAF and the VAP, which is the approach speed and the reference speed, if I'm correct, are being programmed. And the next thing we need to do is we need to press send to make sure that they are sent to the computers up here. You won't see them right now. I think you'll see them once we're almost there, or once we're approaching. So we will leave it as is. So we're checking this, all fine. We're gonna focus on the legs again, and then we're gonna reset the view. So while flying to Key West, right, we can enjoy the scenery here around. The scenery is pretty nice, and it's also what you will see when we're approaching the airport. You will see that the scenery is really cool for Key West. So I'm gonna reduce speed a bit, not too much, a little bit. So here you see Florida Keys Marathon International. Let's see how far we need to go. So we're still to Gusel, it's 12 So a few miles and then we're there, right? So we probably will be instructed to descend to 3,000 feet somewhere. I'm not gonna do it right now, so let's wait till we get the instructions. Here it is. So we're gonna decrease the altitude to 3,000.
3,000 feet Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
And we're gonna use the virtual switch to do that. Thousand feet per minute. Might be a little bit too much, but this is doable, I would say. Keep an eye on the speed, right? So because you can see once we're descending, the speed increases. So make sure that you decrease speed to prevent that your aircraft goes in overspeed. One thing you need to keep in mind is that the FLC button, from my experience, it acts a bit weird in this airplane using this mod. It doesn't react always correctly, so that if you push the button, it will also sometimes switch off the LNAV mode, which is let's say the method of the autopilot using the navigation system, so GPS, to keep track of the direction. So keep that in mind. I think if you press this button, it will go to roll mode, which works completely different. So keep that in mind. So further decrease throttling. It's 5 miles. So right, if you don't know where you are, you can still use the V key, right? So the V key shows the VFR map. So you can see where that we're still following the flight path. So that's nice.
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra contact Navy key approach on 124.025.
So we're gonna contact approach.
124.025 for Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra. Navy key approach Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra is at 6,100 feet, descending 3,000 feet.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Navy key approach. Continue to Burpee as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Okay, that was all fine. So one of the things I wanted to show you is that in some cases it will add the altitude to a specific waypoint, right? So in this case it said okay 1500. So we're now at we need to go to the previous page. So Burpee is still listed here, right? So keep it in mind. So it's now going to Yanka. That's also what you can see here in the display. So it displays you exactly what it's doing. So Yanka is now, let's say, blimping, then we'll go to Bimkin, and then hopefully it goes to Burpee. I saw some cases where it was displaying discontinuity and it didn't continue with the rest. So let's see what happens now. We're still descending, right? So if you keep an eye on the altitude meter, you can also see that we're still increasing a bit, so we'll decrease a bit, decrease throttling a bit. This is also what I had last time. So last time I also had that once you activated it, for some reason it doesn't, or change the approach, it doesn't follow the exact flight plan anymore, and that's in this case really irritating, because what it does, it's trying to follow the original flight plan. So in this case it will try to go to B-pin, if I'm correct. Which is also probably somewhere around here.
Altitude.
It's the warning that we almost reached the altitude. So what I tried in that case, I was going to the roll mode and then switching again to the navigation mode. But the thing is that, or the problem I think is that the navigation system, it doesn't understand that it needs to switch to the approach mode. And there's really no way to say, okay, hey, I want to get rid of this. At least not as far as I could find out. So we'll need to I would say find a way if we can. I can delete it. So one of the ways I thought might be helpful was by doing it like this, and then simply say, okay, hey, I want to remove it. But as you can see, it now inserted an additional one, which I definitely not wanted to do. So then I tried hitting the button here and say, okay, hey, burp in, execute. It also didn't do anything. And if you still look at the VFR map, right, so which is shown here, it doesn't do much. So what you can do in those situations is you can take over control and punch in the heading, which is shown here. So that's not something we are gonna do. So we're gonna first set it and then go to, what was it? 275 if I'm correct, and then we're gonna press heading. Let me double check if it doesn't look okay. So probably we need to go to so we need to go to 252. And here, so there's also the display now changed to discontinuity, but it doesn't continue with the rest of the flight plan, which is kind of nasty. So press heading again. So if anybody found out how it works, post it below the video, because this is somehow a little bit frustrated that this doesn't work as it should be. I think with other airplanes it normally works. It jumps over to the rest of the waypoints.
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra, you are 300 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 3,000 feet altimeter, 29.902.
So we need to go to 3,000. We were a little bit slow.
Climb and maintain 3,000 feet Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
So we need to... take some corrective measurements.
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra, you are 14 miles east of Key West. Contact Key West Tower on 118.2 when inbound on the approach.
First need to switch a bit with the airplane, so you can always like this a bit.
Tower on 118.2 Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
Because what we're gonna do is, or what we're gonna try to do is, we're gonna try to skip the waypoints here and then at least ensure that we're, I would say, coming in line with this airport or with this
Key West
waypoint.
Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra 12 miles east inbound RNAV runway 27 approach.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Key West Tower. Cleared RNAV runway 27 approach. Altimeter 29.9, wind 275 at 10.
So we're gonna acknowledge the
Cleared
pattern.
RNAV runway 27 approach Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
And try to switch to LNAV, but you can see it doesn't pick up. It's still stuck with with beep in, so that's the problem. So there's also an option here. So that's something I need to figure out, right? Why doesn't it work as expected? The good thing is that it has now populated, I would say, the flight speeds, right? So if we look at the perf data and then go to next, you will see that at least you've got an indicator in, okay, hey, what should be the approach speed? So probably we need to decrease speed once we're almost there. So let's see where we are. Probably need to go a little bit more. Because the airport is somewhere here, so we need a little bit. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna switch off the autopilot at the end. So keep in mind that we have the maximum speed, right? So again, perf init approach. So it was 109, so we need to decrease speed massively. But that should normally not be an issue. So let's switch on this one and then have a look where we are approximately. So we're gonna decrease speed, and since if you look at the virtual map, right, we're almost there. So we're gonna drop flaps. You can see we're gonna decrease the speed. We're gonna switch off the autopilot. Don't forget that you also need to put down the gear.
Cessna X-ray Golf
Landing
Sierra,
gear.
clear to land runway 27.
Landing gear.
Wind 275
Landing
at 10.
gear. Landing gear.
So put it down. The landing gear not up. So we're lucky. You can see that the
X-ray Golf Sierra, acknowledge last transmission.
you can see that the approach speed is
Clear to land runway 27 Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
it's a little bit too fast. Right, ideally you should take that approach speed, which is calculated automatically. Also try to avoid that you're going too slow. I always find it's very nasty. See, when you put on the airplane too high, you see what happens. Yep, you're screwed.
X-ray Golf Sierra contact ground on 121.
Wow. And then you're crashing, right? So keep in mind that you that there are some glitches probably with the with this mod. And unfortunately, we didn't make a successful landing, right? We can still try it by doing restart, but then it will completely restart from the departing airport. In some cases, when you, I would say, can't make a successful landing, or when you are doubting because the cockpit view is maybe a little bit difficult, I sometimes use the option to show the airplane from the external and then use the view from the bottom of the airplane where you see the wheels, because it makes it easier to see, okay, hey, where's the runway, and am I already close to that? Of course, that's not as realistic as as it should be, but sometimes you want to really, I would say, make successful landing after a long flight. In this case, it was a short flight, so it doesn't matter for me. We will try again. So I hope this was informative, right? So we looked at the FMS functionality and how you can use it for approaches, specifically how it calculates the end speed and how you can punch in or change the approach route to the runway. Fortunately, there are some glitches where it didn't pick up the new route, right? So that's something which I still need to investigate and probably feedback to the developer of the, I would say, mod. But if you got it working for some reason, then also let me know. So this is the end of the video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you got questions or comments, then populate them or ask them below the video. And if you want to see more of these videos or other videos, then consider to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.